Hello, folks. Welcome back to the fifth and final round of tonight's Friday Night Magic. I'm your host, Randy, here with Tyler.
Yep.
So we've seen a lot of this deck.
Yep.
And we talked about that, yes, it will most likely survive rotation.
Mm-hmm.
It might get a little bit better. It could get a little bit worse because Delta Vanguard's leaving.
Yep.
But you still have God's Willing that's staying. You said Reckless Rage is leaving.
Yes.
That's probably your most disappointing card that's leaving. But here in this final match, we have BOROS Feather versus BOROS Feather. We're going to see who's going to win. We're going to knock on the door and let them know it is time to get started. Bryan thumbing through his deck. He has a Plains. He does have a red-white source. He needs to put a card to the bottom. Looks like he's choosing Feather, the namesake of the deck, to the bottom. So a Plains. He can play his own Dreadhorde Arcanist if he wished. And he does.
Yep.
So it's pretty even here. So this is where if you have your favorite card, you can kind of gain the advantage.
Yep, and there it is.
And then he's going to be able to get in for one. So he's going to draw a card.
Yep, Defiant Strike again on the attack trigger.
Dealing 3 damage to Bryan, bringing him down to 17.
It looks like William's got another Reckless Rage in hand. So he can answer... I think I see a Feather.
So he's going to swing that Goblin in and get it 1 damage in. And of course, Reckless Rage is probably going to take out the Legion War Boss.
I'm surprised he didn't just do it before combat there.
Looks like he's going to play his own Goblin War Boss. So being a little bit efficient, getting the one in the graveyard instead.
Shocking in a Sacred Foundry to go to 17.
Of course, you know, a lot of times when you're trying to keep it on the notepad, you don't update the one inside.
And there's the Feather.
Here we go.
So taking Feather out pretty quickly. Then he really doesn't need to use the Reckless Rage on the token. So he can leave it in there for if something does become deadly.
Yeah, it looks like he has another Legion War Boss in hand. I wouldn't be surprised to see it come out here. And just really put as much pressure as he can on Bryan.
Yeah, you got 5. 6, excuse me. Okay.
Mentor the Dreadhorde Arcanist.
I agree.
So I see the shock in Bryan's hand. That's most likely going to hit a Legion War Boss.
So he's choosing to put it on one of the goblins.
So 2, 4, 6, 7.
7. I block one of the 1/1s.
So he'll take 5 or 6 instead.
And I'll take 6.
It's currently 17-9, even though Doc hasn't updated his life total on the life pad that we have there.
Shock War Boss.
Well, Caleb didn't. Caleb got beat out by Doc as far as percentages to make it to the finals.
Oh, look at that.
Shock,
pair
shock.
Of shocks.
Here we go.
As he tries to stabilize. Still 4 power on the board for William.
Ooh, and there's the 10th district.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6.
That's 6 power coming in.
Looks like Bryan's going to take it, go to 3. I don't think he has anything in his hand to stop this. And a Danto Vanguard. So even if he plays Feather, because he still has Dreadhorde Arcanist on board, he can handle whatever Bryan puts on the field. So I think this is game 1
I think so.
in Williams' favor.
6, 7. Yeah, game 2.
So Bryan scoops it up. He does the math, verifies, says, yes, I can't win.
And pray.
I think we're gonna play 59 59 mountains and a Banefire tomorrow. See how it goes.
Yep.
It's going to go badly.
Depends on who I play.
Well, I personally think you should play
Go ahead.
56 mountains and 4 Banefires.
Yeah, but see, I think that makes my deck too good. So here we see Doc playing the Temple of Triumph. Scrying and choosing to leave the card on top.
It looks like he's still deciding. He's undecided. Yep, keeping it on top.
Here you go.
Bryan with no red source so far. That's
And no Adanto Vanguard for that 2 white mana to come down. Unlike Doc, who's like drawing like masterfully, gets it down. So here he is thinking about targeting his opponent's creature
Defiant Strike on him.
to draw a card.
Draw a card.
That's what I like about Defiant Strike. It is a cantrip.
Turn.
and he hits another plains, still with nothing to play with it though.
So 10th District Legionnaires, you can get in for 5. This might be a fast one if Bryan does not draw a red source.
Oh.
He did get a red source. I think he's thinking about scrying that to the bottom. Of course, Teferi can tuck itself. I like it. They're both wearing magic flamed t-shirts.
Prison Realm on him.
Up, and there we see the Prison Realm coming down.
And a God's Willing
God's
Pro
Willing.
White.
So Doc will get to scry twice
Here
here.
we go.
Bryan can scry too, because the Prison Realm still gets to scry when it comes in.
Yes.
Bryan did not scry, so it's assumed he scried to the top. Well, he did scry with the temple, so he probably may have known what was on top.
Yep.
Bryan's showing a little bit of frustration here. He did say pray on keeping his hand. And I think he's thinking, if I would have drawn a red source, I probably could have stayed in this game.
Yeah, I think here he plays his Dreadhorde Arcanist.
Red Horde. Defiant Strike on him.
Follows
Draw
it up with a
card.
Defiant Strike to try and help draw himself
Drop
out of
myself for
this.
2.
That Sacred Foundry is going to potentially put him in lethal range if Doc has some way to
Purpose
remove.
Rage him to him.
God's willing.
Yep.
Yeah, so if Doc can find a Reckless Rage of his own, as we see a Fry on top of his deck, it will be lethal. So Doc bottoms his first scry, and then scries a Dreadhorde Arcanist to the bottom as well.
Well, here's the thing. He can give... So, he can...
He can get in
Oh, I got
for
one life.
5. You're saying swing with everything, and on the attack, give 10th District Pro Red with the Dreadhorde trigger.
Well, he has a God Willing in hand. He can get in for lethal. So he could God's Willing, the 10th District.
Which would make it 5 damage. Oh, he plays a Sheltering Light, giving it indestructible until end of turn, and he will scry 1. And then he will scry again for the Sheltering Light.
And then he can give it. He can give the Adantos,
Yep, which will make it 6.
and then he can swing.
Swing.
Give the Adanto Vanguard Pro Red.
Well, it doesn't matter. Brian's only got the 1 blocker and 1 white mana
Yeah,
available.
he's a 7.
So short of a Healing Grace in Brian's hand,
He's got put reds
That's
on
lethal.
combat, and then I'm going to cast another one of these on him and make him a 5.
That's good.
Yep. And Doc wins the
I
match.
was hoping to get that red mana
He
earlier.
broke Bryan down.
Yep.
So the feather on feather crime ends up most likely in first place for the evening. It could be a
believe so.
toss-up. Friday the 13th F&M Championship. Yep. So Friday the 13th is always a weird Friday for Friday Night Magic because you never know who comes in. Some
Mhm.
people stay at home because it's Friday the 13th. I don't know how Friday the 13th became unlucky. I know it got associated with a bunch of horror movies.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. Hey, I want to thank you for co-hosting with me, Tyler. It's been a
Yep.
pleasure having you here. I want to thank you who stuck around and watched us. Special shout out to Colin. Hope to play you tomorrow. I do want to play some Magic. I'm going to play Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, before rotation. So
Yep.
just know it's in my deck. It's going to be in my 75 somewhere. There might be multiples of it. And I'm okay with this. I'll live by Teferi. I'll die by Teferi.
Absolutely.
I am okay with it. Seems good. I'm playing that. So, hey, we'll see you on Monday for Monday Night Modern. So catch us then. We'll be starting a little bit early, usually around 6:30 our time, Central Standard. So catch us for some Modern action. It is always a pleasure to watch the Modern decks being played.
Yep.
If not, join us again next Friday. We'll see you then. Thanks again for watching, and as always, you are welcome to battle at Frontline.